was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was good. Blessings on blessings. Um, just thankful to be alive. Grateful to have good food, family. Grateful that Eberflus displayed exactly what type of head coach he is on national TV, leaving there's no choice but to fire him immediately. Very blessed that that happened on national TV in front of the entire world.
As you say, man, don't embarrass us in front of company. And that's you get your worst ass whoopings when you embarrass the people in front of company, right?
And they put the
And
belt to Eberflus. And should have.
as you said, he got his ass whooped. He got fired on his day off. Shout out to Craig. They treated him like a black man today.
On a white people's holiday. Thanksgiving is definitely as white as Columbus Day, as white as pagan Christmas, as white as white Jesus. And he got fired on a white holiday. The good news is there are blessings for evils. He no longer has to worry about games. He no longer has to worry about using his brain in the critical minutes of football games. I mean, because that's hard to do. It's hard to think and come up with a strategy and do your job in the last few minutes of a football game. Obviously, that's not for Eberflus. So you know what? You don't have to worry about that anymore. You can the rest of the weekend being with the family and having extended Thanksgiving.
An extended Thanksgiving, he can relax on Black Friday. Just go ahead and watch the Amazon Prime game, do a little shopping. He ain't got to worry about setting up for the San Francisco 49ers at all. Even though he thought he was going to, right? If you heard his press conference this morning, he definitely thought he still had a job headed into
Got his key card revoked. Speaking of having, have you ever been fired from a job before?
Yeah.
What was the most awkward way you found out you were fired?
Another one was awkward. Well, the last job I got fired from was pretty awkward because it was some mitigating circumstances around it that I did to myself. We ain't gonna go into that, but if you look it up, on the Google, you'll find it. But it was only awkward because you got caught doing the thing. But none of them like the way Eberflus found out. Definitely Eberflus found out in the most bizarre way, and that it just goes back to how the Bears are just a laughing stock from coast to coast. Eberflus had his normal post-game 9 a.m. press conference that was, I heard it on ESPN 1000, and he said that he was asked point blank directly, do you think your job is in jeopardy? He said, no, we are preparing for the San Francisco 49ers in week 14 right now. And then he was fired a few hours later. Exactly. I don't know if he said something in the press conference that was the final straw, but Ryan Poles, McCaskies, Kevin Warren, bro, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Why was he allowed to address the media, do all
That's
of that?
puzzling. That's puzzling. The only thing I can come up with is the players directly to Ryan Poles and said, listen, enough. I don't know if you follow Jaquan Brisker's X account, but they were laughing emojis after Eberflus' press conference concluded. There were a lot of comments during the game, and then there was a comment right after Eberflus got fired. I don't know if you've seen it. God doesn't make mistakes. I don't know. God made a mistake. God made a mistake when he came up with the Packers. Maybe that wasn't God's do, right?
No, it wasn't God. That wasn't God.
That wasn't. You're right. That was God.
That had to be a different God. That was Loki.
The God of
the God of mischief. That's what that was. It just goes back to the again another Marvel reference, the Ouroboros. The Chicago Bears are in a constant circular train wreck. Why are we? If you had to have made the decision after the game, right? So why do you allow him to make it to 9 a.m. where he addresses the media? You don't have a meeting at 7 a.m. with him and say, "Hey, look, we're gonna go in a different direction. Don't even trip about that media call. We got you. We're gonna let your deputy. We're gonna let Thomas Brown or Eric Washington address the media. Don't even set up for that. Go ahead and clean out your office." The way that they do things at Hallis Hall, it is confounding. It is the reason why this team hasn't been on top of the football world in 40 years. Matt Eberflus was excused from the job. He was fired. I'm not even going to ask you, what were you doing when you heard the news? How did it arrive with you? Because we know. We've been saying this for a year, not to bring him back. And I got the proof.
Bears actually won a game this season in which they turned the ball over. And they turned the ball over twice. This is the first division win in the Eberflus era, and the first time the Bears have beaten a division opponent in 733 days. Earlier this season, we broke a 344-day losing streak, and we've won 2 out of the last 3.
Still not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Not yet.
I like that you brought it up. So what you say to running it back next season? Poles and Eberflus and gang. Maybe you didn't hear my question. Maybe what
the awkward silence that they answered enough. No, we're not. All jokes aside, we're not.
Justin Fields' job had more job security than Matt Eberflus. It was better at his job than Matt Eberflus was. So I was mildly surprised there was no talk of relieving Matt Eberflus.
Again, that's because the Bears do things ass backwards. There was no reason to bring Matt Eberflus back at the conclusion of last season, because you're starting over with a new quarterback. At least you should have known that, right? You should have made that decision abundantly clear. You should have made that decision earlier than what some of the reports were. Ryan Poles will lead you to believe that he was still deciding on these things going into.
You know what you were doing.
Yeah, he would like you to believe that it was still a coin flip between keeping the number 1 pick and drafting Caleb Williams.
Oh, Taylor,
Justin Williams.
Taylor, get me into the.
All right. And that's why the Bears haven't been on top of the football world in 40 years. They can't even fire their coach correctly. A coach that maybe is the worst coach in franchise history.
That's saying a lot, because Trestman was off. But then again, I don't think Trestman had nearly as bad a record as Eberflus. There was a guy named
No.
Yeah, I think Eberflus' record is much worse than Trestman.
Exactly. I mean, Trestman had he didn't have a losing record his first year. Eberflus has never been over 500 at any point. Well, actually, no, that's not true. He won his first game and then lost like a million games after that.
Yeah, then he lost everything after that.
The first time the Bears have fired a coach mid-season in over 100 years as a franchise.
Who set some records?
Definitely set some records. The worst record that he had while he was the coach of the Bears, 5-19 in one-score games. 4-22 in games in which they had a opportunity to win the game, walk off and win the game. Just not good at all. Supposed to learn from your mistakes. I get it. Your first time head coach, you're gonna make some mistakes in the first year, maybe even the second year. The third year, though, you still have these boneheaded, confusing, head-scratching issues that cost the team week after week after week. But Ryan Poles will want you to believe that, he didn't know he wanted to do that because he was still deciding on whether he should retain Justin or draft Caleb Williams. I think that's bull. What do you think about that?
I think when you have several months to decide in your professional organization, You should know what direction you're leaning to with the quarterback. That is the most significant position on the field. You should also come to the realization early in the 2023 season, as we did on this podcast, that Matt Eberflus was not the answer at head coach. You delayed the inevitable. You delayed the growth of this franchise. You delayed the growth of another quarterback. All because you delayed the inevitable. We sat here early in the 2023 season and we realized that Matt Eberflus should not be head coach, that he was unfit for this job. And we made the mistake of thinking that the Bears organization was a professional organization and was on one accord with people of higher football intellect. I'm sure they get to watch just as many Bear football. Well, maybe I'm not sure. They should be able to watch as much Bears football as we do. They should be able to watch the main telecast. They should be able to watch the replays. And they should have access to all 22 coach film. This should not have happened. Point blank, period. As I said, I hate to be redundant. It was quite obvious last year that Matt Eberflus should not be a head coach of any franchise. And the penalty for that is you miss another year of the playoffs with a roster that's talented enough to make the playoffs.
I don't want to kick a man when he's down, but if Eberflus does get another crack at being a head coach, hopefully it's the Packers. Moving on. Thomas Brown, he went from passing game coordinator to HNIC in less than a month. He is now the interim head coach in replace of Eberflus. If he knows how to properly use timeouts, if he knows how to when and where to challenge a play, then he's an improvement on day one.
Day one.
There's a lot of questions that arise in this decision to promote him once again. One, do you think he has the inside track to get a full term as the Bears head coach after this season? And two, is this too much too soon for him? Is this too much responsibility to rest on his shoulders?
Does he got the inside track? Absolutely. You're already in the head coaching job. I find it hard to believe that if he's able to win out, which would be a tall task, but I find it hard to believe that if he's able to win out, win that locker room over, and Caleb continues to play as he's played in the last 3 games, it would be hard for Poles to sit across from Thomas Brown and tell him he can't be the head coach of the Chicago Bears. So I think he has an inside track. That's not to say that he's the favorite. He just has an inside track. There might be, obviously there's people like Ben Johnson who don't need the inside track. They have a couple years of experience as offensive coordinator. They're a hot name. So even having an inside track with a guy like Ben Johnson has more speed than you right now. He has more experience than you right now. So guys like that, is this too much too soon? After looking at Eberflus, no. Honestly, no. After watching what Eberflus did, there's no way Thomas Brown can be any more unprepared than what Eberflus was. I think a lot of guys with Madden in their hand would know that on 1st and 10 with 46 seconds left at the 25, let's get something quick going, to get ourselves inside. At that point, it's about a 42, 43-yard field goal. I don't know why you're sitting in shotgun with the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, asking to get sacked in the first place. You didn't have wild success running the ball, but you were able to gain some yards and break a couple. I don't understand that situation, why you don't turn around and hand the ball off to DeAndre Swift. Maybe you get 3 or 4 yards, call a timeout right there, 2nd and 7, you're at the 22, then you take a shot in the end zone. That's what I think I don't know. I've watched a lot of football. It's complex, but it's not that complex. I would think you get something quick, run, bubble, whatever. Turn around, throw the ball in. Instead, you take a sack And then they're trying to get a call through the headset and not call a timeout and looking bewildered on the sideline. Eberflus looked like he was one of us sitting watching the game.
The only difference between him and me while watching the game yesterday, I had a plate in my hand. He had the playbook and a call sheet rather, and he didn't use it correctly. I said this on the rant video yesterday. The first thing you learn in the head coach camp is how to call a timeout. You take one hand, the other hand, you make a T. Timeout. That escaped him in the moment. I think the game is not where he got fired. It's what he said in the post-game press conference directly after that. He said,
"We handled that correctly."
Yeah, that's a fireable offense right there. Even more so than than losing that game. Another game in which I'm like, we're going to win this game. I had to feel like in the fourth quarter, we're going to win this game. And then you lose it again. The Bears, again, for those who didn't watch the game, and I don't know how you didn't. I mean, it was nothing else to do on Thursday but watch football. I mean, what were you doing? Eating food? The Bears trailed by 3 points and had the ball on the 25-yard line, like you said, with one timeout, 46 seconds left. They did not turn the ball over. They did not attempt a field goal. They did not call a timeout. They did not score, and they lost the game.
One more. Have a turnover on downs. It wasn't like there was a fourth down. It is almost this is something we've never seen. Unprecedented mismanagement of the game clock.
The last 6 weeks, the Bears have just been unprecedentedly bad. It makes zero sense. So Thomas Brown, at this point in the season, the only thing that can possibly make this season an improvement, make this season even seem like some sort of a success, is the continued development of Caleb Williams, right? Continued improvement from day one until the last week of the season, week 18. As of right now, 3 weeks in with Thomas Brown, I would say it's been a roaring success in that department. As with him as the head coach, we had said during the offseason that maybe Eberflus would be better because now he doesn't have to overlook the defense so much. He can just be a supervisor. Thomas Brown has to be a supervisor over the offense, over the defense, Eric Washington, and over special teams. It's maybe a lot to put on his shoulders right now, but so I don't know that what you said that maybe they went out. I still don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Everybody talked about our schedule coming up. It's too difficult. You're gonna lose all those games. We was in the game with Detroit. We was in the game with the Green Bay. We was in the game with the Minnesota. We could have won all three of those games. I don't think San Francisco's that good. I don't think Seattle's that good. And I just named those three teams again. We got to play the same three our division opponents one more time. We should have won three of those games. You can't get them back now. I don't think the last 5 games of the season are unwinnable because I don't think any of those teams are remarkably better than the Bears.
Not the way the 49ers are playing.
No. Not the way the 49ers play. The 49ers are banged up. Seattle is an average team. They are mid. And the rest of them teams, we already showed that we could have beat you.
Should have been.
If we were one coach better, if we had a coach that was slightly better, we'd have won those games.
Matt Nagy would have won 2 of those games.
And that's talking about another guy who's going to be a hot coaching candidate.
Any chance Matt Nagy ends up back here?
I will eat my shoe if they even entertain the idea of interviewing him again. I would eat one of the shoes sitting by the front door. In fact, I would go lick a sewer top on Lower Wacker before I even think about Matt Nagy being head coach for Chicago Bears again. I don't want him to have I don't want his hand on another Bears quarterback. He stay with Patrick Mahomes. That's where it's safe. Stay there. Don't even think about anything along Lake Michigan. Get away.
He's a huge Caleb Williams fan.
Be a fan. So am I. Let's stay in our same seats. I'm gonna stay over here. I'm gonna stay over here talking about the Bears. You stay over there coaching Patrick Mahomes. We can just be fans from a distance.
Do you think he's really coaching Patrick Mahomes, or is he just there being feeding Andy nuggies.
That's a part of the job description. You gotta get the nuggies.
He got to get the nuggies, and then he has to say Bundalaruski, Bundalaruski. But those are the worst commercials ever. I hate what they've done to Andy Reid. They've turned him into a caricature. If can you do blackface in reverse? Is there a reverse blackface? Why are they treating Andy Reid like this?
They definitely made Andy Reid more palatable. They made him into like a silly cuddly guy head coach instead of what we've all grew up as knowing Andy Reid to be. You know, that tough, stern guy that's innovative on the offensive side when he was coaching the Philadelphia Eagles for so many years. I remember him chewing McNabb out a few times on that sideline. He saved Mike Vick's career. That's not the guy that he is now with the Kansas City Chiefs. Thanks to State Farm? Completely different guy.
Ruski one time for our listeners, it probably would entertain them.
Is it Fumblerooski or is it Bumblerooski?
Bundalaruski.
Bundalaruski.
Home insurance. Bundalaruski.
State Farm is making too much money. Bundalaruski. Thomas Brown. I don't know if he can coach the Bears into 5-0, 4-1. I don't know if he can coach the Bears into a winning record in the last 5 weeks of the season. I really don't know. I hope. I'm going to throw my support behind bro until I can't no more. The only thing at this point, we got 8 losses in the season. The only thing at this point that will salvage this season is Caleb Williams continues on a trajectory of being a very good quarterback. You spoke his name up, and this will be the last thing we talk about before we get into the game review. You spoke his name up, Ben Johnson. I'm going to ask you, after yesterday's game, are you still 100% sure that he's the number one choice to be the next head coach of this team, given that his play calling in the second half is some of the reason why the Bears were able to make a comeback?
Well, I think one of the reasons was Jahmyr Gibbs' fumble kind of sucked a lot of momentum out of the Lions. That kind of was a turning point. I think even though Eberflus is not head coach of material, I think he called a good game defensively. I think the defense stepped up. And I think as importantly, Caleb Williams and the offense was able to sustain drives. See, when you can sustain drives and keep a hot offense off the field, you mess with their rhythm. So there was nothing in the game yesterday that made me too much question Ben Johnson, because I have a lot of respect for the Bears defense. I have a lot of respect for the talent over there and the grit of those guys. And I have a lot of respect for Caleb Williams. So I think the Bears just showed up to fight. And no, I don't hold that against Ben Johnson.
I do think the Bears showed up to fight in the second half. I will credit the whatever adjustments we made in the second half, Eberflus included. He is the head coach. I'm assuming he did make some adjustments. I think that a lot of players, a lot of fans I've talked to after that game, they said the Lions let up, and that's why the Bears were able to get back in the game. I don't believe that. Simple fact, the Lions have been dropping 30, 40, 50 points on teams.
They don't let up
all season. No.
Your neck, and they still go after you.
Exactly. The L in Lion does not stand for let up. If they could, they would have dropped the whole house on the Bears like the Wicked Witch of the West. Shout out, go see Wicked. But they couldn't. The Bears stopped all that cute shit that they was trying because I have to believe they felt disrespect that Ben Johnson pulled that baloney play call out of his ass in the first quarter. When he gave
it and throw the ball.
Yeah, he gave the ball to their all-world tackle, Penei Sewell, on the end around, and it was an option play. He could either run the ball or he could throw the ball. And I'm sitting at the TV, I'm like, yo, that's mad disrespectful, G. That's mad disrespectful. In the first quarter, now the Lions are known for doing this. They got a whole bunch of trick plays they pull out on teams. And usually after they've already destroyed your confidence in the fourth quarter, they're up by 4 or 5 touchdowns. They did it to us in the first quarter. That's super disrespectful. I'm like, okay, I know the Bears have played like stir fry shit for the last month and a half, but you're not gonna play us. You're not gonna play in our face like this, bro. And I gotta believe the Bears took that. Right. I gotta believe the Bears took that disrespect and they put it into motion. And they had the game. They almost came out of there with a dub. It was almost Caleb, DJ, Keenan Allen, Jalen Johnson, rather, eating a turducken on CBS instead of Jameson, Goff, Montgomery, and Gibbs.
By the way, one of the worst calls I've seen, calling the horse collar on Kyler Gordon on that Jameer arm to the face. Come on, NFL. Come on, refs. You got to do better. If you didn't see it, don't call it. Don't just assume that our all-world athletic nickelback committed a penalty.
Trash call. Let that segue us into our game review for the Bears versus Lions. Usually how we do this is we look at the game in a good, bad, and ugly perspective. Tiff's not here. She's frolicking in the Chicago streets somewhere, enjoying her holiday weekend, Black Friday. I hope she's getting all the sales. I text her, if you see this out there on sale, get it for me. I got you. And she didn't respond back. Let's start with our goods. The good from yesterday, I would take from this, and I'm going to say it one more time. I know it sounds like a broken record, and I wish he was here to hear this. The good from yesterday was Caleb Williams.
Instantly triggered.
Caleb Williams, once again, he had another great game. He didn't have a great first. He had a great second half. He didn't have a great first half. His first half was kind of doo-doo. But the totality, we're gonna look at this we're gonna take look at this in the totality of it, right? He had 300 total yards. He had 3 touchdowns, all in the second half. No turnovers. He hasn't turned the ball over since week 6. He hasn't thrown an interception since week 6. I don't think he's lost a fumble all this season. That is something that you do not see from rookies.
Don't see that from veterans. 200 plus passes without an interception. Something you don't see from a lot of veterans around the NFL.
That's an NFL record for a rookie. 212 consecutive completions without an interception. CJ Stroud was lauded his rookie season last year because he doesn't turn the ball over. The longest streak of his rookie season, 191. Caleb's blown that away by a full game. He continues to show that he's the. If you don't believe that he's a good quarterback, I mean, that's up to you. I'm not going to debate that with you. But he continues to show you that he is a quarterback who should be starting in the NFL at the very least. The franchise quarterback, not some guy that was just cut in New York. Shout out to Danny Jones, who's now in the NFC North. That's why I'm gonna bring him up. He's not showing you some guy that was like that. That was like overdrafted and immediately mid. Caleb Williams his rookie season has been a little rocky. There's ups and flows as a rookie season should be. There's going to be peaks and valleys, but he's showing you that when you hit the peak, it is really good. He made great plays yesterday. Each one of those touchdowns that he threw, two to Keenan Allen, 1 to DJ Moore, each one was a perfect pass. That second one he threw to Keenan, that was just a great route. My man Keenan routed that boy up, had him stumbling. He had bro on the train going to Toronto instead of staying in Detroit. Shout out to Keenan for that great route. But Caleb, that's my good. He's still showing that he is the promised child, and I can't wait until he has a full season under his belt and he unleashes on the NFL in his second season. What about you? What's your good?
My good is Caleb Williams again, and I can hear Tiffany cussing us both out.
Rolled on her eyes.
Overcame adversity in a slow start. And the slow start was not all on him. It's hard to get into a rhythm when the opposing team takes the opening drive and holds the ball for near 8 minutes. That's tough. Yeah. And then they get the ball back and go on another 7-8 minute drive. Now the offense is cold. You're probably panicking a little bit, trying and pressing hard to make a play. Caleb went into halftime, looked like a game that could get away from us. and methodically marched up the field for 3 strong drives, culminating in 3 touchdowns, and was on his way to leading us to a game-winning drive, or at the very least, another game-tying drive like last week, until Eberflus. So my good is Caleb Williams. All around good game. If there's one thing you can nitpick on, there was a play in the fourth quarter where he hit DJ on the back shoulder where he should have led him. Would have went from a long game. DJ could have made a better adjustment on the ball too. I'm not going to totally absolve him, but there was that throw, and there was another throw he kind of missed. But I don't want to nitpick. Got through 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and like I've said many times on the show to other people, no quarterback. Well, quarterbacks very rarely have a game where they're perfect. Even the best quarterbacks, you watch a Chiefs game, Patrick Mahomes misses guys. Lamar misses guys. Josh Allen misses guys. They all miss guys. It's hard to drop back 40 times and just be on point each time. There's a lot of factors. There's a pass rush. There's a defense. Got to remember, those guys get paid too. So there's a lot of factors that go into overall. Yeah, my good again is Caleb Williams. The rookie's continuing to get better and better every week, and that's all you can really ask for from this season. This season, regardless of wins and losses, priority number 1 was development of number 18, and it's good to see him developing on a trajectory to be a star in the NFL.
I was assuming that your good was going to be Eberflusing the game away and getting him up out of town.
Been a good. I think that could have been the actual good, but I didn't want to. I wanted to give Caleb his flowers.
Okay.
I thought Caleb deserved his flowers. I'm trying to forget this Eberflus era.
I'm gonna forget it. I'm gonna forget it real easily because all of it runs together to me. Nagy, Eberflus, Fox, Tressman, all of it. Ever since we got rid of Lovey, all of it's the same. All of it's been the same. Hope up, hope down.
Have we ever seen a franchise with a black quarterback, black head coach, black GM, and black president?
Yes, the Chicago Bears. Bear down. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I just hope it goes the right way. Because if it doesn't, if Kevin Warren can't get us that stadium, if Ryan Poles can't fix this offensive line and get this team back into the playoffs, if Caleb Williams busts out, if Thomas Brown looks worse than Eberflus, I don't know what to do.
Race is being born. You guys, you know what? You asked me, did Thomas Brown have a lot on his shoulders? Yes. Because there are many MAGA Americans waiting for this to fail or waiting for them to become true patriots. The thing is, they won't just be judged by the content of their field. I'm sorry, Dr. Martin Luther King, they will be judged by the color of their skin if they're bad. If they're bad, they're all going to be looked at as DEI hires.
Tyson Badger's daddy is waiting. He's rubbing his hand like Birdman. All right, so my bad from yesterday's game. Caleb Williams, you're gonna come right back to the center of the stage. You was my good. You're also my bad, bro. What the fuck was that? That slide that you did in the third quarter. I thought his career was over. We talked about this all offseason about the playing slip and slide, learning how to slide. And my bro, we got to this offseason, you got to do some work with Kyler Murray. He's a former all-world baseball player. He can teach you how to slide. At the very least, he can teach you how to play some Call of Duty. He can teach you how to slide. But that slide you did in the third quarter, bro, I don't ever want to see that again. Do something, drop and roll or something. But whatever you tried to do,
lower your non-throwing shoulder.
Yeah, be like Jay Cutler, be like Justin Fields. Throw a shoulder into somebody. That's better than what Jay Cutler threw was throwing shoulder into Steelers' second DB, but he's an idiot. That's why he's locked up. But No, even that's better than what you did yesterday. That slide where you just fell to your knees, and then my man came around and blew up your entire thigh, and you just bent back like you just got
Ricky,
like someone shot you, and you're right, like Ricky got hit in that alley in Boys in the Hood. Man, I almost had a convulsion. I'm like, bro,
that would
don't
be
let
the
this happen.
scenario of this season.
If the worst would have happened right there, I'd have lost it. I'd have said, I can't watch no more games this season. I'm going to listen to them on radio. I don't want to see this team ever again. I know, because
Be ready for
just
Bajan time. There's been a lot of people calling for Bajan time.
And that's exactly why I can't watch the team anymore. If we had to do 5 more weeks of Tyson Bagent out there, like, and then the debate comes, like, hey, you know what? He should probably win the job in camp. I can't do it. Caleb, don't put me in that position, bro.
Yeah, because the guy that has 4 starts and threw 3 touchdowns with 6 interceptions should be considered for a starter. Yes, you're right.
But please, Caleb, rocking with you. I'm a big fan. But please cut that out. Don't ever do that shit again. What's your bad?
My bad. What is my bad? I know what my ugly is. I'm gonna say my bad is same as last week. I'm so sick of losing to division opponents, and in stupid ways. This has got to stop. Like, we got to stop getting out coached in the last minute by division. We're making the Vikings, Lions, and Packers look better than what they are, and then I'm tired of it. I'm tired of letting the Packers escape. Not just the last couple of years, just through the years. Period. Letting the Packers escape, letting the Vikings escape. That's my bad. Another loss to a division opponent. Gotta stop. I mean, I think a lot of guys with Madden in their hand would know that on 1st and 10 with 46 seconds left at the 25, let's get something quick going, to get ourselves inside. At that point, it's about a 42, 43-yard field goal. I don't know why you're sitting in shotgun with with the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, asking to get sacked in the first place. You didn't have wild success running the ball, but you were able to gain some yards and break a couple. I don't understand that situation, why you don't turn around and hand the ball off to DeAndre Swift. Maybe you get 3 or 4 yards, call a timeout right there, 2nd and 7, you're at the 22, then you take a shot in the end zone. That's what I think I don't know. I've watched a lot of football. It's complex, but it's not that complex. I would think you get something quick, run, bubble, whatever. Turn around, throw the ball in. And instead, you take a sack, and then they're trying to get a call through the headset and not call a timeout and looking bewildered on the sideline. Eberflus looked like he was one of us sitting watching the game.
The only difference between him and me while watching the game yesterday, I had a plate in my hand. He had the playbook and a call sheet rather, and he didn't use it correctly. I said this on the rant video yesterday. The first thing you learn in the head coach camp is how to call a timeout. You take one hand, the other hand, you make a T. Timeout. That escaped him in the moment. I think the game is not where he got fired. It's what he said in the post-game press conference directly after that. He said,
we handled that correctly.
Yeah, that's a fireable offense right there. Even more so than losing that game. Another game in which I'm like, we're going to win this game. I had to feel like in the 4th quarter, we're going to win this game. And then you lose it again. The Bears, again, for those who didn't watch the game, and I don't know how you didn't. It was nothing else to do on Thursday but watch football. What were you doing? Eating food? The Bears trailed by 3 points and had the ball on the 25-yard line, like you said, with 1 timeout, 46 seconds left. They did not turn the ball over. They did not attempt a field goal. They did not call a timeout. They did not score, and they lost the game.
One more. Have a turnover on downs. It wasn't like there was a 4th down. It is almost this is something we've never seen. Unprecedented mismanagement of the game clock.
the last 6 weeks that the Bears have just been unprecedentedly bad. It makes zero sense. It's not just losing to them. It's compounded by the fact that we should have beat them, all three of them. The game was won. Caleb did what he had to do to get that game won against Green Bay. The game should have been won against Minnesota. We got the game to overtime. We won the coin toss. We should have been able to drive down that field and snuff them out. We didn't. And then when we didn't, we should have been able to at least hold the Vikings to a punt. We decided to play prevent defense all overtime. I don't know why. But, the guy who calls the defense, he's no longer employed by the team. So, yeah, let's hopefully we get better results from our endeavors moving forward for the last 5 weeks of the season. All right. I think we talked a lot about uglies leading up to the game review. We could just recycle that back as the ugly, but let's see if you got something else. So I'll kick it off. My ugly from this latest loss by the Bears is Eberflus basically calling us all stupid in that post-game press conference. He said, you know what, we what's the quote again, Q?
I think we handled this correctly.
We handled this correctly. No, the fuck you didn't. You can just sit here and say that, yeah, we messed up, it's on me. Follow your sword. Yeah, we know it's on you. You can take the blame. The outcome is going to be the same. You're going to get fired eventually. Even if it does happen today, he's going to get fired eventually. But to call us stupid to our face, like we handled it correctly, there's no way you could have handled that correctly. You have a timeout in your pocket. You're on their side of the field, whether you consider the 25-yard line or the 40 whatever the hell yard line after Caleb lost those yards. The fact remains this: you cannot leave that game without an attempt to send it to overtime. At the very least, there's no way you can do anything other than that, right? The fact that we didn't get an attempt at the field goal is abhorrently bad, right? You cannot go into that press conference and say, yeah, we handled that correctly. No, you did not. And telling me that you did is telling me that the sky is purple when I can clearly see it's fucking blue.
I like to equate that to beating me with a whip and calling it BDSM. No, because I didn't get any pleasure out of that. No, this is don't hit me with the whip and tell me it's BDSM, because this is not pleasurable for me. Stop lying to us, Eberflus. If you want to beat us and punish us, be a man and tell us. Be a man. Just be. I don't like you. That's why I'm hitting you with this belt. Don't lie to us in bold face and give me some coach jargon about we'll be better next week. You've been telling me this since week 1 of the 2022 season, or week 2, since you've been losing. Yeah, my ugly is Eberflus, and the penalties, which is an extension of Eberflus, because guys aren't disciplined. When the thing, I was watching the Steelers game, the pregame, they lost to the Browns though, but they made it a point to say that, the team is a reflection of the coach. They take on the personality of the coach. And watching Darrell Taylor on 4th and a long one, jump off sides, get an encroachment, and give them the first down. That is exactly what has been driving me crazy under this regime. Watching Darnell Wright consistently not make it through a week without false starting, without a hold. Watching holds on good drive. We had another holding on that drive. I think we got down to the 10-yard line, and we had holding on the final drive. It is consistent. This team just sabotages itself, just like Eberflus. Just like Eberflus sabotages us at the end of the game, the team does things throughout the game to sabotage itself. So that is my ugly. the coaching, the self-sabotage, we have to stop. Hopefully the light at the end of the tunnel is that the Bears go out there and they get serious about getting the best coach on the market. If it doesn't work out, you did your best. Please don't bring me some unknown like Matt Eberflus again. If you're going to bring me a guy without head coaching experience, bring me the best guy out there. Give me the hottest. Give me the guy everybody else wants. Stop bringing us retreads. Stop bringing us Mark Trestman's, Matt Eberflus's. You hear the rumblings. I don't know if it's really going to happen. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. Not that they're in danger of getting fired, but maybe, those guys want to change the scenery. We've seen good head coaches do that before, where they just want to get out. We've seen Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells went from Giants to Patriots to Jets to I don't know if he was the coach of the Cowboys, just the GM. But we've seen Bill Parcells do that. If there's any chance that Sean McVay, there's an inkling of a chance that Sean McVay wants to get out of there, you go see him. You put fillers down. Ben Johnson's the best coaching prospect on the market right now, or scheduled to be. You send fillers out there. Send fillers to Bobby Slowick from the Texans. Do your due diligence. Get the top prospect out there. Don't bring me another Eberflus. Don't bring me another Nagy.
And I think the trauma that we've received from being a Bears fans over the last 10 years, maybe even longer, at least the last 10 years, is that we're just going to hire another coach who's going to let us down. I can't think like that, right? We finally got the quarterback. Fingers crossed that we finally have the quarterback.
Looks
right?
that way.
It feels that way. I mean, he's accomplished the things that we assumed that he was going to accomplish the day we drafted him. He's broken all the rookie records. He's even setting NFL records. He looks the part. You see the flashes of brilliance in his play. So I gotta believe that at some point it is time that we get the coach. We get the new Lovie Smith, the guy who's going to walk in day one and say, "Hey, first thing we will do is beat the Packers. Second thing we will do, we're going to get to the Super Bowl." That's the guy we got to hire. We got to find that next voice that's going to lead us there.
Bose, you promised us that we would take the North and never give it back. Hey, your time is ticking too, buddy. Heading into year 4. I need that. It's bad when we're getting trolled by fans. I'm not happy about that.
No, not at all. They are extreme. They're extremely vocal right now. Those Lions guys.
I don't know. I don't even know if you guys got good drinking water, or your population is dwindling. Like I don't think you guys are in a position to troll. You all are nothing but a big Harvey.
Drive through Harvey. It looked like COVID hit Harvey the hardest, and it's still there. It's just decimated. Harvey, Illinois, or Danville, Illinois? Which one's worse?
Ooh, the advantage of Harvey is you're only a few minutes from the city. You can get downtown on a decent day if there's not much traffic in 20 minutes. Danville, you're in the middle of nothingness. If I had to pick, give me Harvey. Give me Harvey over Danville.
Yeah, at least with Harvey, I can cross the street and be out of Harvey. I can cross Sibley and just be out of Harvey. I mean,
you got South Holland. You got Country Club Hills. You're not that far from Orland. Right. I can't do anything nice near Danville.
No, Danville is just depression, and that's what Detroit was for the longest. Just bleak depression, just 8 Mile, and that's it.
And Section 8 vouchers and single mothers with somebody's baby daddy who just got released from jail staying there fighting them.
And though that's who's trolling us now, the city of Detroit. And that's why, Ryan Poles, this is on you now. You fired Eberflus. You hired him. You told everybody that was your coaching hire. Now that you had to release, now that you have to fire him, not even halfway through his contract. I mean, we don't even know how long this contract was. But now the time, your time is ticking. You are immediately on the clock now. You got to fix this. You got to fix the coach, and you got to fix the lines, both of them, the offensive line, defensive line, this offseason. Coming into week 1, if you haven't fixed all 3, we're going to talk a different tune about you, buddy boy. We're going to need a new GM ASAP.
We're going to warm your seat up, too. You can go to Danville.
Thanks for listening to this latest edition from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And all my homies from Chicago, we say 3 things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.